My wife picked another man. She never expected my disappearance to destroy her. The call came while I was standing in the rain, keys heavy in my palm, staring at the window we used to argue beside. Her name glowed on the screen. I didn't answer. I already knew what she would say. I had known for weeks, maybe months. The body learns before the mind admits it. The way silence settles into a house, the way laughter dies early, the way someone starts leaving rooms before you enter them. Thunder cracked. My phone vibrated again. Then a message. "We need to talk. I'm at Daniel's." Daniel! She hadn't even tried to soften it. No lies, no story about a friend's couch or a late meeting. Just the name, like a blade pressed flat against my throat. I stood there, rain soaking through my coat, and felt something strange happen inside me. Not pain, focus. The house behind me was dark, empty in that particular way that feels intentional, like it had been holding its breath, waiting for confirmation. I imagined her sitting in his car, or his kitchen, laughing too loud, touching his arm the way she used to touch mine when she wanted reassurance without asking for it. I typed one word, "Okay." Then I turned the phone off. The rain didn't stop, but something else did. We had been married 7 years, long enough for routines to become invisible, long enough for neglect to masquerade as comfort. Daniel was always there, a coworker at first, then a friend, then a name that surfaced too often in conversations that didn't need him. I didn't accuse her. I don't believe in emotional outbursts. They give away leverage. Instead, I watched. I noticed how she angled her phone away from me at night, how she started dressing with care only on days she said she was tired, how she began correcting me in public, lightly, with a smile that carried a warning. I told myself stories. Everyone does. Work stress, midlife panic, a phase. But lies rot quietly. They don't explode. They soften first. One night I woke to the sound of her whispering in the hallway. My name floated out of her mouth, careful, like a liability. I didn't move. I listened. There was laughter, his low and assured, hers breathless. When she came back to bed, she smelled different. Not perfume. Something warmer, something earned. I lay there, staring into the dark, counting her breaths, and felt the last thread snap. Still, I said nothing. People mistake silence for weakness. They forget it can also be preparation. I became meticulous. I copied phone records, dates, durations, patterns. I memorized them the way a lawyer memorizes case law. I checked bank statements, hotel charges disguised as team offsites, gifts purchased and refunded, a rhythm of spending that told a clearer story than words ever could. I followed once, only once. They met in a parking garage downtown. She slid into his car like she belonged there, like it was muscle memory. I didn't confront them. I drove home and cooked dinner, ate alone, washed the plate, put it away. At work, I smiled, I listened, I nodded. At home, I began removing myself in pieces. I closed accounts she didn't know about, redirected mail, quietly resigned from a position she assumed was permanent, transferred ownership of things she thought were shared. I left behind what she valued least, me. Every night she came home later. Every night I slept lighter, not from anxiety, from clarity. The truth does that. It sharpens the edges of everything else. I planned my disappearance the way some people plan weddings, methodically, with patience, with respect for timing. When she finally said the words, they landed gently, almost tender. "I think I'm in love with someone else." I nodded. "I know." Her face tightened. Confusion flickered. "I didn't mean—" "I know," I repeated. I kissed her forehead, packed a bag, left the ring on the counter. I didn't tell her where I was going. I didn't need to. 3 years passed. I built a new life in a city where no one knew my name. I worked, I invested, I slept well. I learned the difference between loneliness and peace. Then the letter arrived. No return address, just her handwriting, shaky, smaller than I remembered. She wrote about regret, about how Daniel had changed once the chase was over, about how his affection had been conditional, about how she'd lost friends, lost work, lost herself. She wrote that she had tried to find me, that I had vanished too completely, like a death without a body. She asked if we could talk. I didn't respond. A month later, she showed up. I was leaving a cafe when I saw her across the street. Thinner, eyes frantic, searching faces. She froze when she saw me. To me, crossed toward me like she might dissolve if she didn't move fast enough. "I thought you were gone," she whispered. "I was," I said. She tried to touch my arm. I stepped back. "I didn't know you were capable of this," she said. "Of disappearing." I looked at her, really looked. "I didn't know you were capable of choosing him," I replied. Her mouth opened, closed. I handed her a folder. Inside were copies, records, proof, timelines, everything I had known before she ever confessed. Her hands shook as she flipped through it. "You knew," she breathed. "Yes. Then why didn't you stop me?" I smiled then, small, controlled. "Because you'd already made the choice." We sat on a bench, public, neutral ground. She cried, quietly at first, then harder, like a dam giving way after years of denial. "I ruined everything," she said. I didn't argue. "I thought you'd fight for me." "I did," I said, "by letting you go." She looked up, angry now, hurt. "That's not fighting." "It is," I replied, "just not the kind that leaves scars you can see." I told her about my life, selectively, about the work, the freedom, the quiet. I didn't tell her how often I had dreamed of her voice during the first year, or how long it took before her absence stopped feeling like amputation. Some truths don't need witnesses. She asked if there was any chance. I stood. "There was," I said, "before you chose him." I left her there, crying, watching me go. This time she didn't follow. She understood. I walked home slowly. The city felt different that night, lighter, like it had been holding on to something it could finally release. I thought about the man I had been, the one who believed love was loud, that loyalty needed performance. I was wrong. The deepest power is quiet. She thought choosing another man would cost her a marriage. She didn't realize it would cost her the version of herself that believed consequences could be undone. I didn't win. I didn't lose. I simply stepped out of the story where she controlled the ending, and that was enough.